Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Postgame Show podcast presented by PointsBet. Use that promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Cody Delmendo, Luke Stuckmeyer, and hopefully later, Ryan Herrera from beautiful Wrigley Field, where the Cubs were shut out in the first of 5 games against the Cardinals. The beauty of this one, less than 3 hours, Cody. You don't get games like this very often. If you're going to lose to the Cardinals, lose quickly.
Yeah, I mean, can we spin zone it? It's just nice to win the time, or just...
Yeah, we won the time game.
It's nice to win one, guys.
Something positive.
You know, we watched a guy who should have retired like 7 years ago, but didn't because he's was given one of the worst contracts ever. Hit a homer because he's mashing off lefties right now. He's having a hot 3 or 4 weeks, Caught him at the wrong time. I'll give credit where credit is due. Dude's almost to 700 homers. I'll give credit where credit is due. I'm not a sore loser. I'm not a guy who, finds a reason to hate for every little thing. I am stating, though, that he has been washed for 9 years, and that's not even like slander. It's actual facts. You just go to Fangraphs and look at it.
He's been good against lefties for a couple weeks.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much it.
Congratulations, dude. And it's so Cardinals. It really is, and that's what pisses me off the most because he's really been bad last 5 years. Goes to the Cardinals for this fraudulent-ass retirement tour, and he has a 140 WRC plus in his limited time playing this year. So I hate it.
We got to give Jack R. on the chat credit. He called it pregame show. Pujols bomb. It wasn't really a bomb. What it Dong said nowhere else?
Oh, yeah. What it Dong said that it would have been a home run at Wrigley Field and nowhere else. That's just what they said.
But that's the only place that mattered in this one.
Ryan loves that account.
Ryan loves the What It Dong
I don't
website.
believe in that account, but if it's going to say it, then I'm going to...
I don't even know if it's factual, right?
Yeah, Ryan's the guy who, he's at the ballpark. He said that account matters. He said that, that account said it only.
He calls it legit. He says it's legit. Yeah. Joe Martinez says, praying on their downfall in October. I hate the Dodgers even more. Do you hate the Cardinals more than any other team in the National League?
Absolutely. Yes. There's no other team I hate more. Their fan
I'd rather
base
see
is
the Brewers
absolutely unbearable. Everything about them. They are the worst fan base in all of sports, even though Forbes likes to write these stupid articles ranking fan bases. And that's just one time. But whatever. You get what I'm saying. I loathe them. I loathe them for rivalry reasons. I loathe them because I grew up surrounded by a bunch of people who love them, and I want to be different. So, this is what it is. It's just one game. You know who's won a World Series sooner? The Cubs. You know who doesn't celebrate World Series that were won before black people were allowed to be in the major leagues? Not me. I don't talk about 1908, but they like to tell me about 11 rings. They haven't won one in 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, whatever. Do you want me to keep going, Stucky?
No, it's all right. Because I know the bigger one's still coming. Those were just little angina moments there. The big grabber's still on the way. Drew Smyly deserved better in this game. Really,
he did.
I mean, the Pujols homer, like you said, what Dong says,
everyone's going to talk about.
Wasn't really a home run in most ballparks. Right. He made one mistake, and it wasn't even near the zone. And the guy hits number 693. Other than that, 7 innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts. Again, too bad they couldn't have traded him.
Yeah.
Too bad.
A lot of teams have to wish that they had traded for Drew Smyly. He's been really good since coming back. And he was, solid enough, during, the beginning of the year where you thought maybe you could get, a low-A guy for him or something like that. But, now he's out there shoving. And we're talking about, Paul Goldschmidt went 0 for tonight.
Yeah.
That guy's going to win the NL MVP. That guy's actually deserving of some freaking celebration on that team, unlike their fraudulent retirement tour. He went 0 for tonight, and they lost. It's frustrating because the Cubs couldn't score and run. Credit to Jordan Montgomery for just outdoing him.
Good.
I'll give him the credit.
He was good.
And, I don't know why the Yankees wanted to trade that guy. Like, he was solid for them. What's Harrison Bader doing for your team? That guy's like a fourth outfielder at best. How do the Cardinals how do they do this to all these other?
It's voodoo. It's voodoo. They have voodoo
I don't
dolls.
get it. I genuinely don't
Little
get it how they
pins.
do this shit like that. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you trade a starting one of your at least a solid depth starting pitcher for a fourth outfielder at best? He's never been more than that. Never.
Mike Dubbs says, what a boring homer from a boring team from a boring city. You mentioned, like, teams probably regret. Listen, they were worried that he was hurt maybe, or maybe they just weren't interested. But, like, teams should be angry that they didn't sign Drew Smyly. All you have to do is look across town on the south side.
Absolutely.
Kopech comes out of the game on Monday, injured. Giolito's been a total liability. You don't know what you're getting from they could have used the depth of Drew Smyly at least being around, and they could have stashed him at AAA.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
A lot of teams wouldn't have heard it,
I'm just surprised no
That guy
one
that could've
wanted him
saved the
based
season.
I'm surprised no one wanted him based off just the fact that he just won the World Series with the Braves last year. Like, he has playoff experience. He's shown that he's healthy most of
Man,
most
I
of the
feel like
season.
if he was back 2 weeks earlier, you would have been able to trade him.
Yeah. Maybe get like one or two more starts in
But
there.
I also thought you were going to be able to trade Happ and Contreras, but the price was not right. So
yeah. Well, it is what it is.
And as far as Pujols goes, has he been washed up? Big time. Was he worth the
washed for
contract?
10 years,
No,
dude.
but I don't hold contracts against any player. If some dumb team wants to give you that amount of money for those years, that's their problem. Maybe they made the most out of it in promotions and jersey sales and all those other things. But if whatever they're willing to pay you, that's what you're worth. But I don't hold it against him. He is a great hitter. He has been a below average player for a long time. He's been dragging out his career quite a bit.
He's only really been in the league because he was on that contract, and the Angels waited forever to DFA him. I mean, it's like similar with the Cubs and Jason Hayward, right?
Yeah, very similar.
Like, that's basically what it is. I'm not taking anything away from Albert Pujols.
No, he's a Hall of Famer.
As his career. Like,
he's a Hall of Famer.
He's always been a guy that I always thought was going to go to the Hall of Fame. I just think that, like, the only reason he's even close to 700 home runs is just because teams have just been carrying him, and like, I'm not being a hater. You can go look at the stats. He has been bad
during the game over
for
and over.
a long time, for like literally
Negative
almost
WAR.
a decade. Like, he earned the contract. Good for him, but like, he was the best player on the planet for a decade and then completely fell off the earth. That's basically what happened. That's not even like, that's not me being salty. That's not me like making shit up. You can go look at the numbers.
Now, speaking of numbers and the Cardinals, and I know this has been brewing. We touched on it in pregame. I know it's been brewing for a while. I'm just going to give you a sentence. You tell me whether it's true or false.
Okay.
Yadier Molina is a fraud.
True.
Yadier Molina is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
False.
Now, we have the fraud thing we can prove. Because I get pamphlets in the mail all the time on this fraud. Watch out for fraud. It's a warning signs of fraud. And the first one I got, look at this. Do you know the warning signs of fraud? It's a pamphlet I used to keep at my desk at my old job, so I knew what the warning signs of fraud were.
Graphic.
I never looked closely enough until Joey told me today. He's like, "Have you looked at that pamphlet?" I looked closely and I was like, "My goodness, they all look like Yadier Molina."
Yeah. Well,
You have great despise for this man.
Oh, yeah, because he's a fraud. I've been told year after year that this guy's a team guy. I've been told year after year that he's the greatest catcher of all time. Hell, I've been told he's the, just the greatest, baseball player ever, because I've been told that Cardinal fans wouldn't trade him for Mike Trout. And that's just what I've been told. I've been told this many times by many people, man. Like, I don't make this shit up. That's just what I've been told. Now you apparently he owns a basketball team in Puerto Rico and decides, like, I'm just gonna leave the team for a couple days. But I've been told by the national media that he's one of the greatest team guys ever, but he's going to leave his team in the playoff race to go.
It means a lot
watch
to
his
hometown
team?
And to his team. What about the one that's paying him $10 million?
Yeah, what about the team that's paying
Fraud.
him? The one that he's been
Fraud.
giving all his time to, Luke. I mean, come on, man. I don't get it. Sounds about right.
RAUD. You cannot leave a team that is paying you $10 million to go watch a basketball team.
You can't get away with it.
Yeah. I mean,
in the middle of a pennant race.
Absolutely.
You can't keep getting away with it.
He's hitting 188 since he blocked me on Instagram, which he blocked me on Instagram for like the dumbest reason. I didn't even like call him a name or anything. He's just soft. Like, I don't know.
Newman 30's a Redbird fan.
Oh, yeah. He's in my Instagram live right now, leaving comments. What do you call it?
Hello, Newman.
You want to talk about the stats? He's a good friend of mine from high school.
You gonna let it slide?
I'm gonna let it slide. I'm gonna let him be who he wants to be. It's fine. He has a kid on the way. Like, he's gonna be a dad.
Congratulations, Newman.
He's gonna be a dad. Like, he's one of my close friends. He knows that I want to do this, so he's just gonna have to let me do it. One, because it's my show and your show, and I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Oh, it's your show.
Thank you.
Tonight it is your show. For sure.
You know, I was talking about Pujols' stats. I mean, the fact, if anything, if there are any other Cardinal fans in here, it's like your team just won 1-0 and you're in a Cubs podcast live show.
We're trying to lose, but he's your friend.
Newman's
your friend.
You know, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about other people.
The others.
All right. Like, if there's any other Cardinal fans, like, do we live rent free in your head that much, or utilities free, as I like to call it these days? But, you know, I was talking about Pujols stats. Like, Yadier Molina, in 12 of his 19 seasons, been below average offensive hitter. There's really nothing special about him outside of the defense. And I've been told many times that people go to the Hall of Fame when they're good in all facets of baseball. I mean, Buster Posey did it all. But I've been told that Yadier Molina is the greatest catcher of our generation. And it's just like,
I saw Johnny Bench play.
Yeah? I didn't. I'm not as old as you.
I know. That makes me old, but I did see it once. Gary Carter was better, too.
Yeah. So, you know, listen. If these guys were like, you want to use Chicago, Stucky? When Michael Jordan retired, that guy was still balling. Still balling.
First time for sure. Even when he came back with the Wizards, which we don't like to talk about, he's still better than a lot of guys in the league.
Yeah.
Most guys in the league.
These guys have been washed for years, and they've just been like crawling around. Like, sure, you wanna put Yadier Molina in the Hall of Fame one day? Sure, fine. Just because he played forever, he's the Frank Gore of baseball. Congratulations. There's nothing. He's never done anything special. Nothing that like people are gonna remember him for, except for throwing guys out. You know how many other catchers do it? Like all of them that make it to the major leagues. Congratulations. Oh, no one runs on him anymore? Yeah, because no one steals bases anymore. We talk about all the time about how the Cubs try to steal too many bases, Stucky.
Yeah, they're living in the past. Joey Votto should be a Hall of Famer over Yachty, says Jack Art. Well, obviously. That one's not even close. The better comment is Tyler, really. No offense to Jack R. Jason Kendall, better than Yadier Molina.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Former Cub, Jason Kendall.
I believe Jason Kendall has a higher B WAR. We're a Fangraphs podcast, according to Corey and Brendan, but, you know, whatever. We want to go B WAR, that's fine, too. You know, listen. That's always just been my thing. Like, this, like, I just wish they would have retired years ago, because they've been washed for years. Like, this retirement tour, like, Michael Jordan was great, and he deserved what he did because he was still playing at elite level at the time that he retired. That's why I mentioned David Ortiz when we were sitting over there earlier. Like, the guy only retired because he couldn't run the bases anymore. Albert Pujols almost got thrown out at first base by Ian Happ, who was in left field tonight. Like, I don't know what else to say. I think I got it all out of my system.
There's only two comparisons I can think of in Chicago sports history. One would be Dennis Rodman going to Vegas all the time and going out boozing, and he need to go to vacation. Phil Jackson's like, all right, go whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But that was Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Without Dennis Rodman, they're winning nothing. He was the greatest defensive player in the game. And Michael Jordan was like, let him go.
Yeah.
Okay, so he had the approval of the king.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, I saw our friend Dom say on Twitter, and this totally is true. Sammy Sosa takes a lot of grief for leaving the ballpark before the game was over when he was told he could. And there's not going to be let back in the franchise. They're not going to let him back at Wrigley Field. He's hated.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's hated by the franchise.
I could go on a bigger rant about
this
that.
This guy's in the middle of a pennant race, and he's going off to see a basketball team where we don't know a single player or a single guy in the league, and he's leaving to go watch a meaningless basketball game that's important to his town. Wonderful. Important to him because he's invested in the team. Wonderful. You're getting paid $10 million to play on this baseball team. Whether or not you were going to be in the lineup, forget the fact, all the stats that show that he's not Jason Kendall, that you tell me over and over, like you beat me over the head with this. Yadier Molina is a fraud. He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. But then I got the pamphlet in the mail when I saw that he went to watch this basketball game.
The pamphlet tells all.
In the middle of the season. What else could you leave? When you're getting paid $10 million, what else could you leave your $10 million job for that would just be absolutely ridiculous?
I don't know, Stucky.
Pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Every single option is ridiculous. Only like a family member funeral is acceptable here, or the birth of a child.
Yeah.
What other? He went to the Aaron Waters show. He couldn't make it. Like.
Yeah. Or
Aaron C. show, whoever you listen to.
All right. I feel better.
You feel better?
I got it all out of my system because I just I'm told he's the greatest team guy, blah, 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 but he leaves the team for a couple days to go watch his basketball team he owns. It's fine, whatever. I got it out of my system. I'm sure there'll be another one at the end of the year when the Cubs stupidly honor him on the stupid video board undeservingly because no one wants to see that shit. The Cubs will do it, though, but they won't welcome back Sammy Sosa, and then I'll go on a rant about that. Whatever. I loathe them. I absolutely loathe them, and if people want to hate me for that or give me a ton of shit about that on the internet, I genuinely could give two fucks. Genuinely. You know why? Because I turn my notifications off, so I don't see them anyway. So congratulations for yelling at the freaking clouds, which I just did, because it's my show, and I can do whatever I want here. Thanks.
There goes our PG rating.
Dab. Boom. What is this show a PG rating, Stucky?
Who did you bet on? Other than Yadier Molina to get a hit tonight.
I did not bet on Yadier Molina to get a hit. I did bet on Nolan Arenado to get a hit because he's actually someone who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame one day. And Paul Goldschmidt, who, again, went 0-for, and somehow we lose this game. I freaking whatever. Jordan Montgomery.
Fuzzy Dunlop. I like you.
Anyway, I made the bet on PointsBet Sportsbook. It's my favorite app. I wake up every day. I get on it, think about hit parlays and stuff. And PointsBet Sportsbook is counting down the days until the football season with a new offer every day until the season kicks off. From now until September 8th, PointsBet Power Hour will unlock a new daily offer from 12 to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Set on pregame. Sean got a $5 free bet during this Power Hour. For soccer. He bet on something from the EPL, I believe, and he won. And you can do that too. It's such a great deal. And I don't know why if you're in this chat and you haven't signed up for PointsBet yet, then what are you even doing? What are you even doing? Sign up for PointsBet now using code CHGO to also get risk-free bets up to $2,000. Don't miss out on your chance to get daily access to free bets, boosted odds, and so much more now through September 8th. But that's not it. If you make a 51 or more first-time deposit, you receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO Locker. Download the PointsBet app today and use code CHGO to take advantage of this limited-time offer. Don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services. Hit parlay lost.
All right.
To sum it up.
Lil
Yumper.
Let's do the super chat real quick. Little Yumper, $4.99.
Yachty
fears Cody.
I hope so. I hope that guy has actually heard of my name out there. I'm always going to play the shtick about him blocking me on Instagram because I just think it's hilarious that he got so bothered by my comment where I just said that I disagree because he was crying about some shit because he didn't win a Gold Glove one random year. But if he were to find out who I actually am, I think that would be I feel like I would have then finally made it. Like people, Stucky, people keep asking me, like, do you feel like you made it? And I feel like I will. There are two ways where I feel like I actually made it in this industry, and that's when Obvious Shirts makes me I'm ready to be hurt again shirt.
Okay.
And if Yadi actually starts replying to me on it, like if he starts talking about me somewhere or something.
Yeah, he won't now. He's blocked you and never see you again.
But if someone asks him about me in the media or something, like
Ryan Herrera, for instance.
yeah, Ryan Herrera.
Ryan just blew off all the post-game interviews tonight and went over to Yadi and be like, what do you think about Del Mendo?
Yeah, what do you think about that guy?
Who? Cody Delmetrics? Don't act like you don't know who he is.
Yeah.
He's been passing out fraud pamphlets with your face on it all over Chicago. I got to tell you about OWYN, which stands for Only What You Need. OWYN is a 100% plant-based protein shake that gives you nutrition that works as hard as you do, and all their products are free of artificial ingredients, allergen-friendly, no gluten, no dairy, easily digestible, all things we can't say about Yadier Molina. And I first heard about OWYN from Chicago Bears quarterback Justin Fields, who follows a plant-based diet. OWYN and CHGO have partnered up to give you an awesome offer. You can get 20% off your first purchase at liveowyn.com. That's LIVEOWYN.com with the code CHGO20. Join me and Justin Fields. Try OWYN, only what you need.
My guy Kyle's in the chat, and he's like, is this a show about the Cards or the Cubs? So I guess, if we want to talk about the Cubs, we can. We do talk about the Cubs a lot on here.
Let me just confirm
but
the stat.
we really heightened up the slander tonight. I personally love it. If I could, I might rewatch the first half of the show tomorrow, while I'm on the treadmill, just to increase my energy. But
here's the deal: they got one hit. We can't
spend
too
what
much
is there
time.
To say?
We can't
this
talk
team
a whole
stinks.
lot about the we got an hour to fill. There's going to have to be more than Cubs talk when you get one hit.
Yeah,
we know when the team's bad. They're trying to lose.
Are they?
Well, the players aren't trying to lose, but the front office hasn't necessarily gone all out to win either.
Okay, that's better. That's well said.
Yeah, the players are never trying.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that they are playing really the stretch. What is that? 9 of 14 they've won.
Yeah,
it's a good stretch. I give them credit for playing hard, although they should, but I still give them credit for it. And I give David Ross some credit. We've been wondering whether he's a good manager, all these things. And I've said it's way too early to judge that because of the roster he's been given. I do like the fact that the environment that he has built around this team has led them to still being competitive and some of the young guys coming up and teaching them to play the right way. So those are positives.
I mean, the offense was obviously bad, but the bullpen was much better after yesterday too. And the bullpen blew it yesterday, so, Kerwin Castro, Joey's guy, and then who else came in? It was Castro and some other guy.
Cassie came in.
Cassie?
Newcomb was in. Castro.
Oh, okay.
Call him Cassie.
Yeah, my bad. Sean Newcomb. Yeah, Braves legend. And,
the Chavez trade.
Yeah, the Jesse Chavez trade. What was your favorite part of the Jesse Chavez era? Both eras together. Yeah, so, at least you got that. Drew Smyly, again, we already kind of talked about it a little bit. But, yeah, I don't know. I still think the future's bright. It's good to hear about Canario getting called up to Iowa, Brendan Davis heading to South Bend. There's some guys coming. We knew this year was, going to be whatever. But, man, this division stinks, and I wish this team was better.
Looks like we lost our softball game tonight. Just throwing it out there. Joey, can we take a look at the video that is going viral on the interwebs tonight of this Yankees fan? I think this is staged. But if it's not, is this gross or creative? And for those of you not watching on YouTube, there he is sitting in his Jordan Lows. And a man bent over in a Yankees hat. He takes out a straw. Takes out his hot dog.
He is wearing Jordans.
Not his hot dog. He takes out a hot dog. And he sticks the straw through the hot dog, knocking out the middle of the hot dog. Then he takes that hot dog with a hole in the middle of it.
That's so disgusting.
And he sticks it into his beer. And he proceeds to drink his beer through the holy hot dog.
Yeah.
Is that a creative way to have your hot dog and your beer? Is it a way to flavor your beer?
Yeah.
To have that ballpark taste? Or is it just absolutely gross?
I think it's absolutely gross, and it sums up New York.
Man, that's disgusting.
The only thing more disgusting than New York is St. Louis.
Sean saying, Luke, come sit in the bleachers with us bums and recreate that. I am never going to drink a beer through a holdout hot dog. That is so nasty. Like, you know what really is kind of a terrible smell is hot dog water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I hate that.
Whoa.
That's actually
like-
a term that people around my age use to describe things that they don't like, Luke. Like
Hot dog water?
Yeah, that's a bunch of hot dog water. Or a bunch of dog water. That works too.
Dog water?
Yeah, dog water. If you're looking to sound more
This guy
hip,
just made his beer, which sometimes beer, depending on the beer, doesn't taste great anyways. He just made a beer taste like beer with hot dog water.
How can he...
A steamed Vienna beef.
The other question to this is how could he be eating that, but then also wearing Jordan 1s? Like,
I think it's staged. There's no way somebody was sitting next to it and happened to be like,
that, brother?
hey, I'm going to record this.
Like-
I just noticed this guy taking out a straw. We better get my camera going.
Yeah.
This was staged. They knew the guy that was doing it.
Yeah.
And he's got idiots like us putting it up on our podcast.
Perhaps, yeah. That's fine.
We gave him the clicks.
We gave him the clicks.
Congratulations.
We got a super chat up there.
We got another super chat?
Another one from Tyler Troxel. I hope I said your name right, bro. He says, been listening on Spotify for a while. First time live. Keep up the great work, guys. Great content day in and day out. We stinks, but y'all make it fun. Yeah. Hope the Cards fans in the chat see that and can tell that we're kind of good at what we do.
Now, here's what I would like to see. I am never going, just so you know, I'm not, there's no amount of money you can pay me to drink a beer through a dirty hot dog.
Oh, never.
Okay? What I would like to see is maybe we set up, good, Joey might do it.
I just can't understand, like, what. I understand you think that it's, like, staged, and it probably is.
I
But,
think
like,
it's staged.
like, who even comes up with the idea of doing
Right,
that?
that's demented.
Like,
That's what's demented.
Like what are we doing? Are we all in search of creating content? Is it got this bad, guys? Has it got this bad?
I feel like we could find 4 people here at CHGO who would do like a Kobayashi type challenge of who could drink the most beer through a hot dog
Yeah.
in 2 minutes. I think we got people that would do that. I'm not one of them.
Not you, Luke.
It's not going to be me.
Who would do it?
Sean would do it.
Oh yeah, well, he just
Sean
shaved
just
his
shaved
head
his head
yesterday,
on the
so
air.
Yeah. Sean
Pack.
Well, it's not healthy, so maybe he would.
Oh, Stephen Wood, that guy eats 4 pounds of beef for
Stephen
dinner.
Wood. Yeah, he eats hot dogs.
Okay,
in his
so
freaking
Stephen and
sleep.
Sean are certainly in the conversation for it.
Stephen, producer, Matt Peck from the Bull Show, and Sean from the White Sox Show. So that's 3. And then who else?
I mean, I'd do it if we couldn't get anyone else, but
All right, so Joey's like he's
I
coming
think
off the
Greg
bench.
from Blackhawks might be willing to do it. He's up for almost things. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't
I
do
don't
it.
know about that.
Yeah, Greg wouldn't do it.
Maybe Jake.
Would Jay do it?
Well, he is the food guy.
Jay's the food guy.
He's the food guy. Shout out to the I'm Fat podcast. I love his TikToks.
Think we get Hogue to do it?
I don't think
about
Hogue
Moriano?
would.
Moriano, wait, not healthy enough.
Correct.
Can't do that.
You don't think he'd just do it just for the sake of trying
Maybe
it?
Lawrence would do it.
Lawrence?
If
Yeah.
if it was a good IPA, Lawrence would be willing to do it.
Right. And like a nice hot dog.
Moon Man,
that's-
if it was Moon Man, he'd be willing to do the challenge.
I'd do it for Moon Man.
You would do it for Moon Man.
Hell yeah.
This might be something we work on here for a little content.
Maybe you think we could get like the entire network? Like, let's get some people out in Denver and Phoenix to do it.
Oh, I know we could get some people at CHG. I mean, the DNVR guys will do it. They love Malort.
Ugh. Oh yeah.
If they're willing to drink Malort like they drink Malort, they'll drink a beer through a hot dog.
That's gonna be a no for me, dog. That's gonna be a no for me.
And Phoenix, You know how damn hot it is there? I'd drink anything through a hot dog. Whatever it is, if it's a liquid, you're drinking it.
And you know those people out in Arizona are kind of crazy.
In the desert, the heat?
Yeah. The heat would make me
all
crazy.
The dust up your nose there?
Yeah.
Although I would like to go there for spring training.
Same.
Hello.
Let's get a sign that says we'd like to go to spring training. Show it to all our bosses. Thank you. What's some other comments are we missing?
They're saying some of the PHNX Suns guys would do it.
Yeah, okay. Jay would do it. That's what Lil Yumper says.
Jay might do it.
Jesse Friedman, he's from PHNX. He says, please don't rope PHNX into this. We don't like nasty things.
You're going to do it and you're going to like it, Jesse.
Yeah.
Jesse, it's all for the company.
We're not trashing our Phoenix friends.
That said, I will not be partaking.
Do you think the Phoenix people are tuning in because of that video I put out saying that we're the first international podcast?
It could be.
Which it was a joke. And everyone took it seriously.
Matt Farrington says grilled or steamed hot dogs. It would have to be steamed, wouldn't it? The grilled ones would shrivel up too much. You wouldn't be able to get the straw through.
If we were eating them, grilled. But
for 100%.
For this type of challenge, I think steamed works a lot better.
I got to tell you where we can do it. Wiener Circle set this baby up.
Oh, man.
Had the DNVR guys come straight from Serbia. Straight from Serbia, they come right to the Wiener Circle.
Yeah.
They probably got to fly through O'Hare to get back to DNVR.
Absolutely.
Just an idea.
We're just coming up with all these.
Yeah, one hit. We had one hit
these
tonight.
Ideas.
We had one hit.
We had one hit, and that's why we're talking about people putting straws in their hot dogs and why I sat here and slandered two of the, so-called greatest Cardinals of all time for like 20 minutes. So,
did you see that
anyway.
Pat? I hope you heard at the end of the broadcast, but Pat Foley's going to do Game 2 tomorrow.
Cool.
That's something to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm okay.
We'll have post-game show after Game 2 tomorrow.
I won't fake it. Like
On Tuesday.
I've never been a hockey guy. I'm not. Like I have nothing against.
But
the
you know
Blackhawks,
Pat Foley's voice.
Yeah. I know.
If you watched any hockey, you've heard Pat Foley call a goal.
Yeah. Right. Like I know he's a legend.
Sure.
Right. Like I understand that. I'm letting everyone know now that when he calls the game, it's not going to hit me like it's going to hit people who like the Blackhawks.
Die-hard Cubs fan.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, sure.
People who've listened to him for years. So, but it is exciting just because when I do think about it, we're going to have two legendary Pats in the Wrigley Field broadcast booth tomorrow.
I'm curious how many just Chicago fans will tune in just to hear it because they know they won't hear him do hockey again. There's a lot of people that are not happy that he's not doing hockey, obviously.
Yeah. Do you think people will be super judgmental in terms of like how he does?
I don't think so. I mean, I would hope not.
I mean,
he's a broadcaster, but it's not his main sport.
Right.
I know he loves baseball, so I expect him to be pretty good at it.
Right.
And he's a legend, so I'm sure he's going to be pretty good at it. But I would hope you would cut him some slack. Right.
Yeah. I mean, again, you know how people are when it comes to broadcasters.
I would hope that you would give Pat Foley some slack.
Yeah.
Cut him a few,
Right. It's pretty cool that he's going to do it.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
He said it's like a lifetime dream, so it'll be kind of.
And he's a Cubs fan too.
I just said that he should be. Nice. The game should start at tree in a turd.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, he does that.
Yeah.
Happy humans. We'll be looking for a lot of happy humans. I'm wondering if Eddie Olczyk will check in during the broadcast. I kind of have this gut feeling that Eddie O will somehow make an appearance on the broadcast. Whether that's, if it's not in person, I could see Eddie. Both gone from the Blackhawks for next year, and so I don't know. We'll see.
Jesse asks a question related to broadcast. He says, if you are fishing for other things to talk about, how do you like John Shambi? Boog, Shambi, whatever. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit before. He's been fine. I think that people will like him a lot more whenever he has a big call in a big game and a game that matters and stuff like that. And so.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't had, chances to call iconic games or memory, Morel's home run.
Yeah, Morel's home run.
But going back to it now, I can't remember if he was on that game. Like, that's one of the tricky things. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the tricky things about the way they do
He
it.
needs some consistency, too, just to get him.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, I think he called that game, but I don't remember it necessarily specifically who was on the call.
Right.
He did. I remember we were talking about what's going to be the call on Seiya Suzuki's first home run.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And everyone's like, going to want, like, yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Anyways, hey, if you enjoy CHGO, one way to continue to help us grow is to download the PointsBet app. Use the code CHGO when you sign up. Not only do you get those 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you get a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker.
Swag.
This is not a Cardinal shirt. This is like a Bulls script. Thank you very much. Any questions out there, email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we'll help you out in case you missed it. Online sign-up available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now. Register your account start to finish from your phone. You'll be signing up with the fastest sports book, and it's easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. I saw that we talked in pregame. I saw you met Mr. Christopher Morel.
Yeah, I met Christopher Morel today. Set up. Well, if you didn't listen to pregame, sorry if I'm going to repeat.
Not everybody was there for the pregame,
but yeah, obvious shirts. My good friend Joe Johnson. Shout out to him. I love supporting them because they are they're a family-owned business, right? They built their way up. They've become part of Cubs culture. So whenever I learned that Christopher Morel was doing like a fan sighting today, I decided to head up there and do that. So anyway, super cool dude for the minute or two that I stood there. Told him, hey, you hit a homer on my birthday. It was a really special moment for me because how special it was for you, but I'm 31 and saying that is weird to you considering you're like 23.
I'm disappointed in myself for not being there with a camera capturing you saying that to him, so we could have clipped it off as some sort of internet magic.
Yeah, right? Like,
I know it's a little awkward. I'm 31 and you're 23, but made my life.
One of the things on the internet, and this is why sometimes I hate the internet, is like a lot of people online think it's weird if you're like old and wear like player jerseys still. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I were to buy a Morel jersey, and considering I'm 31 and he's 23, like people, I've read tweets and comment sections about this type of thing where people put that down, and like in some frame I kind of get it because like you're 31 years old and you're rooting for like a 23-year-old kid or whatever.
That's not your kid,
right? And so like, again, I get it from a certain standpoint, but it's like we're talking about professional sports here. Like, I don't know. I think it's different.
I know people get bent out of shape out there. Like, I'm a grown man. I'm not wearing another grown man's name on the back of my.
Yeah.
You know what?
If that's how you feel, then you don't have to wear it. But you shouldn't give a fucking shit.
I don't
if
own any
anyone else
jerseys.
is. Like,
I don't own any jerseys, but I don't look down on anybody that buys a jersey. I don't care if you go out and see a Zobrist. I don't care if you go out and see a Jason Kendall jersey at Wrigley. While it might be funny to see that someone's still wearing a Jason Kendall jersey, it doesn't bother me. Like, we have way bigger problems in society than people wearing jerseys. It's just people enjoy it. It's fun. It's harmless. It's not hurting anybody. Like, what are we all getting so upset about?
Absolutely. I'm with you.
Right?
I'm with you. I just, like, I don't know.
Simmer down now.
I also was wondering, like, as him being a 23-year-old, and then you see like the different age groups come in, like and that's basically what I was trying to say is like I don't want this to be weird for you because like I'm saying that this was such a cool moment that this like you hitting that homer in your very first at bat on my birthday, like, and you don't even know me, like I like that's basically the point. Is like I just didn't want him to feel weird about it, but he was super cool, like I said.
Well, you weren't like I sleep in your jersey. Now that would have made things a little more uncomfortable.
I love you, Mr. Morel. Thank you.
I've been like, okay, I don't know you.
Yeah.
We have not met.
But
and again, you gave him the proper gentleman's handshake.
Absolutely.
There was no grasp. It was just a single handshake and a hand on the shoulder, not a pull, not a grab. There was no concern for COVID. It was everybody had hand sanitizer.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was a very nice handshake. There was no, despite the fact that he's very into hugs, you did not hug him.
We did not hug it out. It was one of those, like, I gave him the hand, and I put my other hand, like, we went in with, like, the, I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
I am really
went for the solid handshake.
Great visual moment here. Bad audio.
And then you gave him the pat with the left hand. You gave him the pat on the shoulder.
Yeah, and gave him the old slap on the back of the left shoulder there, and you
didn't alligator arm it. You didn't shorthand it so that you only shook your fingers.
Yeah,
which is uncomfortable.
Nah, it was very firm. So it was cool. And again. Obvious shirts. I feel like that's the second one they did. They did it with Contreras. They did one with now with Morel. So who knows? Maybe they'll do another one before the end of the year.
They've done something with Hap, haven't they, with his coffee too?
Oh yeah.
I feel like he's been over there.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably a lot. No.
Yeah. I don't know if they didn't do like a signing thing, but you know what I mean. Like He's just been over there, and he took some pictures with fans once, but
I feel like if they would have had a VR one, you might have made your way over there.
Absolutely not. I don't think anyone would have came if Jonathan VR was there.
No, you
Nothing
know what?
Against him.
That's not fair. We thought it was a good signing. I did. Thought it was a decent signing in the offseason.
I thought it was.
He's just done.
I thought it was a fine signing at the time, and then he fell apart, and that's what happens. Speaking of Jonathan VR, the only I think he had a 2.5 F/WAR with the Mets last year. And for the last 9 years, the highest F/WAR that Albert Pujols has had is a 2.7. So take that for what you will.
All right, guess who's ready? The man, Mr. Ryan Herrera, joining us from Wrigley Field.
Ryan, you missed the rant.
He's got his Mizzou hat on.
Listen back.
Before we get into Ryan here, Nick G said someone did peep a Felix PA jersey the other day at Wrigley. I just want to say I've got a game-worn Felix PA batting glove in my room, and also a Rob Bowen batting glove. If everyone remembers him, he was a journeyman catcher. I think he played for the A's and then like a year for the Cubs. Probably the two most random Cubs I can remember. But, you're never going to know the day where you see a Felix PA come up on the comment section. So
I always wonder when I see those jerseys. First of all, I don't judge somebody because somebody paid good money for it, and, they can't afford another jersey. So they're like, I'm wearing my Cubs jersey. Totally fine with me. Don't care. Number two, they might have a great sense of humor, and so that's why they might be wearing the Felix PA jersey. Also funny.
Yeah.
Or it could
in
be
a
his
season
sister.
In a season like this, it's always the best time to wear those random jerseys. If you have a Felix PA jersey in the back of the closet, this is the perfect year to pull it out. That's how you make friends. That's how you go to baseball games by yourself and make friends in the left field like I did yesterday.
Ryan, I guess I don't know what, there's several stories that you had coming out before the game and during the game. The Hendricks news is pretty big news, right? Like we know he's not pitching, and the MRI actually showed something, huh?
Yeah, no, I had I can't remember there's like a tear in the shoulder. It's not anything that's going to need surgery. But it is still I think he said it was halfway healed or something like that. So I think it basically confirmed his season's over. Kind of not turn the page, but just get himself ready for next year for 2023, which is last year of his contract. So it's a pretty critical year for him. But I was kind of disappointing, especially for a guy with the 2021 had that good stretch, but then ended it just really bad, up and down for most of the year this year, and then what turned into hey, maybe he can pitch again in September, turned into he's pretty much just done for the year. That's where it is. Just focusing on getting healthy, recovering for 2023. I know he said he talked about having his throwing program and wanted to hit that pretty quickly going into the off season. So it really is just about how well he can recover over this last 6 months before the year. And he said he wants to at least be throwing by the end of the year, but that just kind of remains to be seen on how his recovery goes. That's where everything kind of stands with Kyle Hendricks.
It'll be interesting to see how much the Cubs count on him, or what value they put on how dependable he will be next year in a Cubs uniform. Like, what do they do with the rotation based on the fact that now he's had a tear in the capsule and he didn't have his greatest season this year. He's getting older. Can you go? I personally don't think he can go into the season saying he's a 1, 2, or 3. You've said, Cody, you don't think he can go any higher than a 5 next year.
Yeah.
Because whatever you get out of him is hopefully a great bonus.
Yeah, that's basically where it's at. Like, I just don't think you can go into next year with and bank on him to give you 30 starts. And it sucks to say that to me. For me, I love the guy. He was one of my favorite Cubs ever. We're talking about Cubs Cardinals today. I still remember when he threw the Maddox against the Cardinals a few years ago. Like, we're talking about a guy who's never thrown harder than 90 miles per hour in his career, and he's carved out like a very solid one. People, compare him to a poor man's Greg Maddux. Clearly, it hasn't put up, the type of career of Greg Maddux, but like he's similar type to Greg Maddux. Like, yeah, I'd love for him to come back and like be something, be like what we saw in 2020 or, even 18, 19, 17, 18, 19, you know what I mean? But with all the pitching that the Cubs have coming up, like I honestly would rather see what those guys can do more so than hope that Kyle Hendricks can give you 30 starts. But again, to the flip side of that, like he has experience and he's got veteran leadership, as a part of he can help those young guys grow. Like, so I'm just very about it. I don't really have a full on opinion. I don't want the Cubs to just cut him.
No, there's.
I just don't know.
I disagree with that. There's still value there. What were you going to say, Ryan?
I'd say I think, and we talked about this last week, Cody. I think this might have been one of the ones that Luke missed. That Luke was out. I think that's when we talked with Corey or Kevin. But I think Kyle Hendricks is, as long as he goes into 2023 healthy, he's earned the right to be in the rotation to start the season. He's been a good pitcher for most of his career. Last couple of years have sucked, especially with injury stuff. But he's a guy, World Series champion next year. They are going to be still relying on some young arms and Justin Steele and Keegan Thompson. Even if they don't get another a frontline starter, that's another young arm that probably is going to come up in like a Caleb Killian or a Hayden Wesneski. So it's like, I don't think he's an ace anymore. I don't think 2, 3 might be pushing it, 4 even. But I think just what Kyle Hendricks done in his career, he's as long as he's healthy again, like he deserves and has earned the right to be a rotation person a rotation pitcher to start the year. Whether that lasts however long it might last, that's a different story. But if he can get to opening day 2023 healthy, like I think he's got to be in the rotation.
I'll take that one step further, Cody and Ryan. Let's say the rotation includes Steele, Keegan Thompson, Marcus Stroman, Hendricks, and let's say they go out and get a free agent, okay? And then all those other guys are filtering in throughout the season slowly, wherever they start to come into the team, killing whoever it might be. Would you still give the opening day start at Wrigley or on opening day or home opener to Kyle Hendricks? Who would throw the first game at Wrigley Field for you? I still might let him be my opening day starter.
I don't know.
And I'm not saying that's because he's going to be their best pitcher, but he would have earned it more than any of those other guys.
I guess.
Who else would you give it to? Stroman?
I think Steele is making his way to that type of level.
I think that's an argument for
Stroman. Everyone likes to
I
get
think
all
it depends
up about
how the
that,
rest of this, like if
matters.
Steele's been so good in the post All-Star break. If he finishes this season like he has, I think he'll be in the conversation. Stroman obviously as well, just because they went out and spent a lot of money on him. There's also like, who knows who they go and spend some money on.
If you go and get me
Stroman.
Jacob deGrom, I want Jacob deGrom starting game 1 or the very first game at Wrigley Field. But
I think it's more likely to be Stroman than it would be to be Hendricks. More likely to be than Steele, just because of in the league longer.
Yeah. It is. I mean,
you also,
we'll see. I wasn't
you
even
kind of see
saying
what
that
the
I
spring
don't
training
want.
guide looks like too.
Yeah.
I wasn't even saying that I don't want Kyle Hendricks to not. I don't want him to be in the rotation. I could very easily see him be in the rotation at the beginning of the year. I just don't know if he'll make it to the end, and I don't know if I want him to make it to the end because again, like if things don't go well and he is inconsistent like he was this year before the injury, on top of 2021. It's like, when do you get to a point where you have to see what you got with another guy again? And that, again, that's not me saying that I think the Cubs are going to be bad next year, but like, what if they are good, but he's not good? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how long is the leash? If he's healthy, sure. Starting rotation, beginning of the year. But all I'm saying is I don't have confidence in 30 starts next year. I just don't.
Well, all I'm saying is if he comes to spring training next year with a developed slider, you heard it here first.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
From me and Brendan, you heard it from us first.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
If
the pitch doctors.
Then we can like push that article and talk about how you guys wrote that like a year in advance and like how we just we are on top of analytics at this office.
Always. 100%.
I saw Brendan Davis to South Bend, Alexander Canario to AAA. What was kind of the chatter about those two guys? I would assume pregame, right? Like, I mean, Canario's second in the minors in all of minor league baseball in home runs, 31.
Yeah, 31 home runs up going into today. We talked to Vice President of Player Development, Jared Banner, today about both of them. Brennan is playing for South Bend tomorrow. The Arizona Complex League season ends tomorrow, I think. So it kind of makes some sense to just kind of get him out to South Bend. He said that he wanted the Cubs wanted Brennan Davis to kind of get, especially, one example is with the pitch clock, to kind of get back into an environment that's similar to AAA, but isn't just throwing him right back into AAA, which kind of is where South Bend is, because I don't believe the Arizona Complex League has the pitch clock, but South Bend obviously does. So just getting him there, kind of getting him more of a AAA like environment without just throwing him right in there is kind of where it's at for Brendan. Brendan Davis. They don't think that Brennan is going to be there for long term. I think they really want to get him up back to AAA. Jared Banner said in short order, but that could mean next week. That could mean in a few days from now. So that's kind of what we'll kind of just wait to see what that happens. But he is gonna play for South Bend tomorrow. So there's that. And you mentioned Canario. So he moved up to AAA. Like you mentioned, he's the power. I feel like every day on Twitter we kind of see a highlight of him hitting a home run or something crazy. But this is from Jared Banner. Obviously the power jumps out, his quotes. Obviously the power jumps out to you. That's what you read about on Twitter all the time. But I think it's his ability to cut down on strikeouts during the season this year. It stood out to us. When you see that maturity at the plate develop, that's when it's time to give a guy a reward for that. That's what moving to AAA is. That power surge, but just lessening his strikeout rate or putting the ball in play more. It's just kind of it seems like it's gotten to the point where Alexander Canario he's past double A pitching. Like, it's time for him to just move up and see what he can do at the AAA level. There is kind of a glut or log jam or whatever you want to call it of outfielders down at that level, but I also think that's kind of just like a good problem to have, as far as if you have good players, it's better than having no good players, right? So that's a better problem to have than the other way around. I did kind of ask. I saw it floating around on Twitter. Him getting promoted to AAA does not mean Pete Crow Armstrong is going to be promoted to AA anytime soon. So in case anyone was wondering, that is okay. Just let's set the record straight. That is not that they don't seem like they're connected.
But they did not rule out Brendan Davis catching a cup of coffee at the end of the season at Wrigley Field, did they? Or
No,
how did you interpret what was said there? Because I've read the quotes and I've seen it sort of interpreted a couple different ways. Like, how did you take what was said about Brendan Davis? Do you think he will get a shot? If everything goes well, do you think he would get a shot the last 7 games of the season after Iowa's done?
I mean, I didn't read it as in like, oh, they're not. I didn't read it as in they're not ruling it out. I don't. That just kind of all depends on how quickly he kind of moves back. As if he takes another week and a half to move up to AAA, which I don't think he will. Like that kind of sets him back a while. Then he's still got to do all this AAA stuff, and then can find. I mean, I don't know that I see it. I mean, I guess I could see a scenario where that's a possibility, just based on how quickly he's kind of moved through this recovery, like kind of surprising everyone. Like that's a good for him. He's already back in high A, and if he's back in AAA by before the end of the month, like that's pretty good. So I could definitely see a scenario where that is, but I mean, I know like we talked about, I think Jed kind of ruled it out himself a couple weeks ago on 670 on the interview with 670. I'd probably still lean that no. I'd probably lean that way just based on everything we've heard. But I guess you never really do know until it kind of gets to the end of the season and he hasn't played at all in the major leagues. I guess we'll find out in 6 weeks, but I'm going to lean towards no.
Pat Foley has to get ready to know a lot about Javier Assad for Game 2 tomorrow. Looks like he's going to be the Game 2 start instead of Killian. What do you guys hope to see from this guy? I mean, I
would love to see a Matt Schwarmer-like performance in his major league debut against the Cardinals a couple months ago. But I genuinely don't know enough about the guy to tell you what I should believe. But I will say this, 25 years old, 2.66 ERA between AA and AAA this year. We'll see.
Friend of the show, Greg Huss, says that here's where he ranks among the prospects in the Cubs system this year with at least 50 innings. First in innings pitched, 4th in ERA, 11th in base on balls percentage, and 5th in strikeouts.
All right.
So, I mean, we've had a lot of talk about how great the pitching is in the Cubs farm system.
It's true.
Here's a guy who the numbers tell you has actually done as well as anybody.
Yeah.
Or at least near the top.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in seeing. I'm interested in seeing just his strikeout rate has gone up this year at AA and AAA. It was like 7-something last season, 7.16, and now it's up combined from AA, AAA. It's in the 9s. So, added some stuff there. Obviously, a little more swing and miss. So that's just another arm that you kind of heard about. You get some reports about from the minor leagues, and we talk about this improvement in the minor league pitching department. And this is another guy that can kind of show that that's legitimate, like that he can come up, have some success. Like that's obviously a good sign for some of the things that come, because he's not like the top pitching prospect or the most hyped up pitching prospect. You have Killian there, Hayden Wesneski, Ben Brown, like all these different other arms that are definitely kind of on more people's radars. But if he can come up and have some success, like that's, again, it's another kind of little success story for this turnaround in the pitching development in the minor league. I think I know Jared Banner kind of mentioned his command, raised his ceiling a little bit this year, added some velocity, changed his speeds well. So that I think that's what they're looking forward to seeing. Obviously, giving him that shot. We don't know anything about Wesneski this week, potentially Wednesday. I've seen that rumor. But tomorrow, Javier Assad. It wasn't me. It wasn't, no. I don't know. It's Wednesday remains to be seen, but tomorrow is obviously Javier Assad. I think that should be a good game to pay attention to, another young arm that's kind of on the rise in the system.
Before we go here real quick, let's take a look at who you got, who we picked, and this was one of the most boring who you gots of all time since the Cubs had one hit. It was Christopher Morel's triple, and everybody else was, if someone had taken Drew Smyly, I would have said, you get the win.
100%. No, yeah.
Morel's triple, I guess we would have had to say you get the win. But I had Horner, Ofer, Madrigal, Ofer, Happ, Ofer.
Yep.
Well, we all got to take the loss on this one. Nobody wins tonight.
Honestly, I would have, if someone took Seiya, I would have said he got the win because he smacked both those balls. And
yeah, he just missed 2 home runs.
Yeah, one went the same distance with the higher exit velocity, higher launch angle, and the other was like a lot better hit than Pujols' home run, but Pujols just hit it in the one spot that it went out, and Seiya didn't. So I would have, but yeah, no, I agree. It was a table L today.
And finally, Ryan, would you be willing to drink beer through an empty hot dog?
No,
you're out on that?
We were talking about that. No, we were talking about in the press box. I think I'm no lawyer or lawmaker, but I think it's like automatic 5-year minimum prison sentence for drinking a beer through a hot dog.
I think
that was unbelievable.
Rick Tellender would probably do it, but all right, you're out of the mix then for that. We'll have to count on Sean, Peck.
Sean will do it.
We're trying to figure out who could do like a Kobayashi type contest.
Yeah.
Most beers through an empty hot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll let Sean and Peck take care of that then. It'll be a no from me.
All right, sounds good. Let's do this again tomorrow. Cubs and Cardinals will play now games 2 and 3 of a 5-game series. Doubleheader tomorrow. We'll be back for post-game show right after the second game. So after the Pat Foley game at night, and we'll recap kind of the whole day and what we know. And you're going to be at the ballpark, right, Ryan?
It will be. That will be. Long day.
Ryan's ready for a long day at the ballpark.
Well, that's why I was saying.
Oh, a quick update.
I was just going to say that's why I'm happy that we had this like 2-hour and like 10-minute game or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they have a doubleheader tomorrow, so it's like these teams weren't the heroes we deserved. They were the heroes we needed. Get me out of here quickly. I can go to sleep a little earlier.
This was the classic Stuckey game.
This was.
If there was any positive, if we were really going to spin zone this game and not sit here and talk about how much of a fraud Yadier Molina was for 25 minutes, we would have been talking about how this was the greatest game ever played because it was under 2.5 hours.
Yeah, if you're going to lose to the Cardinals, you might as well lose 1-0 in less than 3 hours.
Might as well.
I mean, get it over with.
But with that said, Yadier Molina is hitting 188 since he blocked me on Instagram. Good night.
And that is a wrap for the CHGO Cubs Postgame Show podcast presented by PointsBet. Use that promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Have a great night. We'll see you back here after Game 2 on Tuesday.